Welcome back. So, did you enjoy the award show? Now, the award show is kind of back to what it was 4 years ago. I felt like there was some bloated running time there, as was proven when it went 12 minutes overtime. So, it was supposed to be over at 7 o'clock my time. It was over at 7:12, so that's 10 o'clock Eastern, 10:12. And I mean, it's a minor thing, but it feels like with the NHL awards, whoever's directing this, you're supposed to have all that timing down, and at any rate, they were trying the joking around and trying to be funny. They do that every year. They try it in different ways. I don't think it landed this year either, but anyways, that's just me. And of course, since it was in Nashville, lots of country. I don't listen to country music. I don't really like country music. So when it was on, I was just muting my computer and just thinking, if I did a live stream, there'd be people going, well, what's wrong with country music? And my answer to that would be, I don't have enough time to get into that. Or maybe I do. I could just go overtime. So Trisha Yearwood came out to present the Ted Lindsay Award. Now I know who Trisha Yearwood is because when I listened to country music, 30 years ago, she was a big hit then. I went through a phase. It was a country music was a phase in the early 90s, early mid 90s for a lot of us, and then it just sort of it stopped. Back to metal I went. But she gives out the Ted Lindsay Award. Connor McDavid wins there. He joins Gretzky and Lemieux as players who've won that award 4 times or more. And he's only 27, so Connor McDavid is in heady territory. And we have the debate about who the best in the league is. And I always say, to me, Connor McDavid's the best player in the league. I think tonight's awards have shown that that is a commonly held belief. I know there's people who don't agree with that, but at any rate, he does win the Ted Lindsay Award. And then they had country music and more presenters who are country music presenters for the Lady Byng Award. Anze Kopitar wins it. He accepts it remotely. It was pre-recorded. He had 77 first place votes. So he didn't run away with the trophy, but he did win it. Kopitar, a player who is, legendary and is just going to go on his Hall of Fame resume. And then they had Sheamus. WWE's Sheamus is just outside to introduce country music. And I'm like, okay, I guess Sheamus might as well. There was nothing else WWE that I saw all night. And now here's Sheamus. Sure. Ireland, Nashville, it's a natural tie-in. So anyways, because again, it's not like it's a WWE thing because they didn't show any other wrestlers. It was just Sheamus. And I like Sheamus. He seems like a nice guy. But at any rate, then Messier comes out to present his award. He didn't mess around. He just, so Stamkos, kind of like it's kind of how I delivered it. So Stamkos gets the Mark Messier Award for leadership. David Amber came out to give the E.J. Maguire Award. This is for your prospect who impressed. And Connor Bedard wins that. So Connor Bedard gets his first trophy of what's going to be a lot. Connor Bedard's going to win a lot of hardware, I think, in the NHL. And I put a Chicago logo up there because I'm guessing Chicago's going to draft him first overall on Wednesday. I swear there's people trolling at this point. I don't know whether Chicago's necessarily going to draft him. They might go with Fantilli. Right. Yeah, sure. And then they had more country. They're presenting the Calder Trophy. Matty Beniers wins. I saw a lot of people online not happy. He was the least deserving, yada, yada, yada. 160 first place votes. There are 196 votes. 160 of the first place votes went to Matty Beniers. I agree. He would have got my first place vote as well. And the one thing to keep in mind, if you're mad that Owen Power didn't win, if you're mad Stuart Skinner didn't win, good news is the Calder Trophy has no effect on how the rest of a player's career is going to go. It is just you have the Calder win or you don't, and then the rest of your career, sometimes Calder winners don't do much after that. Sometimes they do a ton. So we'll see. And then they had more country music, and then they had FanDuel with some jokes. The funny thing is, I was going to write on this board, no gambling advertising, but of course you have a FanDuel tie-in, because sure. The highlight of that was, I guess, Bettman playing Wordle. Yeah. Then Carol and Cameron came out with a country singer to present the Selke Trophy. I wasn't even going to try to keep track of who they all were. Dierks Bentley was hosting this, and his kid was doing interviews with all the Hart Trophy candidates. So they presented the Selke, and surprise, surprise, Patrice Bergeron wins his 6th. And he had a very good season. He accepts pre-recorded. This is a bit different, though. His wife's about to have a baby. 187 first place votes. Again, that's out of 196. So I know there are people who think that, Bergeron shouldn't have got it. He's getting that just on reputation. Bergeron had a very good season. Keep in mind, these are voted on after the regular season. So whatever happens in the playoffs does not matter. It does not affect the awards. Bergeron, I think, still would have won it, even if, the playoffs had been factored in. So then they bring out for your Masterton Trophy. The Coyotes doctor talked about Keller's comeback from the broken femur. It was nice of them to show him breaking his leg on the boards, too. They didn't have to, but they did. So, and I'm sure for Keller, he was probably glad to see that up there. That's my moment. Then Pierre-Olivier Joseph was up there to talk about Chris Letang. Stalock's doctor was up to talk about his bout with COVID. That's how he ends up getting nominated for the Masterton as well. Your winner's Chris Letang. I am not surprised at all that Chris Letang wins the award. Going through everything he went through this year, first, going through the stroke, and then he had a foot injury, and then he lost his father. Just so many things, and he still had a decent season offensively. And I think that says a lot about his stick-to-itiveness when it comes to his game, right? Like, he went through a lot this year, so makes sense. And as Letang said in his acceptance speech, that's not the award he wanted because it means something bad happened. And there were a couple of laughs about that, but I don't think it was meant as a joke. He means, yeah, you get this award when something bad happens. And he's right. Then Biz offered to hug Olmark if he won, and he gave him a sash and a little tiara. Sarah Nurse then came out for the Hockey Hero Hall of Fame. It was a Great Clips tie-in. I don't know. It just sort of, it was there. Pekka Rinne came out to help present the Vezina Trophy that went to Olmark. He had 22 first-place votes. That, of course, is voted on by general managers. There was a lot of talk about how Shesterkin was 8th in the voting behind Georgiev, and this is just terrible. Okay, you're getting into, like, 3 votes to 2. Like, you're looking at 32 general. It's not a big deal. People were making a big deal over who finished where in the trophy voting, like it matters at all. So, yeah, Olmark gets 22 first place votes. I already had his name on the board. I knew he was going to win. There were 3 awards. I had the winner on the board before they. I actually had 4. Bergeron I put up there first. Olmark I put up there first, and then the 2 at the bottom as well. I knew they were going to win that. Then we get more country music. Bettman gets the usual reaction, and he said that's music to his ears. He really honestly leans into this idea of the crowd just booing him and everything, and it doesn't last very long. He leans into it. He's like, yep, music to my ears. And then everybody's like, well, if he enjoys it, we're going to stop. There you go. And he talked up Poyle, brings out Poyle. They also brought up one of the teachers from Covenant School. They brought up police officers as well that were involved in that shooting, of course. And then they awarded the King Clancy Trophy. So Michael Backlund had to go up and accept the award in the midst of all of that as well. His speech was a good one. Backlund, I really get the feeling that while there's all this talk about guys leaving Calgary, I don't think Backlund's going anywhere. I think he's going to sign an extension in Calgary. I'd be kind of surprised if he ends up going anywhere. Then they bring up the Willie O'Ree trophy next, and the Willie O'Ree winner was announced. Jason McCrimmon wins. He runs Detroit Ice Dreams Youth Hockey. Seemed like a really nice guy. My first thought was, man, I kind of wish we were going to Detroit and I could talk to this guy. Seems like a really nice guy. Doing good work with youth hockey and, stick to it. And $25,000 goes to a charity of his choice. So that's the nice thing with the Willie O'Ree Award. $5,000 for the other finalists goes to a charity of their choice, and he gets to choose charity to get $25,000. So that will absolutely help. His speech was nice as well. Barry Trotz then is out on stage. He got a nice Barry chant from the fans. He presents the Jack Adams Award, and Jim Montgomery wins with 79 first place votes. So Jim Montgomery goes up and he gave this really nice speech about his battles with drinking and alcoholism. And they only showed drinking on the air 3 times after that, I think. Anyways, so yeah, Montgomery, really nice speech. I've never had anything bad to say about Montgomery. I understood why Dallas parted ways with him when they did. I am also so happy for him that he's become this great redemption story. And I hope that continues. I really do. I hope that continues into next season and beyond. And that he can, finagle some more wins for the Bruins. I think, I've seen people say he was just a passenger. I'm sorry, you don't win 65 games in a season without a really good coach. Especially early in the season when they didn't have Marchand at 100%. They didn't have McAvoy. This was a team that looked like they were going to struggle, and they had a fantastic start to the season. Montgomery deserves full credit for that. Again, people got upset about who got 1 vote and who got 2 votes, and Then the Norris Trophy was next. Erik Karlsson wins. No surprise there. It's his 3rd win. He had 123 first place votes. So this again was not close. Karlsson's the easy winner there. Then they had country music as the show's going over. So I'm looking at the clock and going, there's no way they're going to finish this. Oh, good, good. We're going to go back to an outdoor country concert. Good, because, yeah, all right, sure. Show's got pacing problems. You'll just go back outside for the concert. Then they did a Vegas video package, and then Dierks Bentley drank out of the cup. Yep, they had pitchers of beer. They poured him into the cup, and he drank not a lot. Like, it was very little. There was the chug chants, of course, again, and I'm thinking, after that speech Montgomery gave, there's kind of a difference between this and anyways. But at any rate, I will say this: if you offered me, you said, "Hey, Shannon, you can drink out of the Stanley Cup," my answer would be no. In fact, I have this Stanley Cup right here. This is I think it's 2/3 of the size of the real deal, and I mean I could hold it up and I got the whole Stanley Cup. I don't drink out. I would never drink out of this. There's just something about it, like if you said to me, hey, you could wear a Canucks jersey and pretend you're the Canucks winning the cup and drink out of it. No, I just there's no, I would never, because to me the only people who drink out of the Stanley Cup are players, coaches, staff who win the Stanley Cup, or their families. That's who I think drinks out of the Stanley Cup. So I watched that and I was like, really? He's drinking? Oh, wow. Okay. So again, I know, big star. So, there you go. And then they finally get to the Hart Trophy. So there you go. And Connor McDavid wins. It's his third Hart Trophy. It's the 35th time that a player has won both the Hart and the Ted Lindsay Award. He wins 195 out of 196 votes for first place. Pastrnak had the other one. Does Jack Edwards have a vote? Because that might be why it wasn't unanimous. That was the first thought I had, was if Jack Edwards has a vote, that'd be pasta. But again, we'll see who voted for Pastrnak at a later date. And the nice thing was the Stelter family was present. Connor McDavid, I'm going to agree with some people I saw online. He's not like a really engaging personality. McDavid is not like a really over-the-top, vivacious type guy who's going to really wow you in interviews. He's a quiet type individual. This is not out of the realm of reality with a lot of hockey players. And I think that comes across in some of the interviews that drive people nuts, where they get pucks in deep and, all the things, all these standard phrases. Hockey players don't necessarily have the best personality of pro athletes, but they're pretty good skaters. They've got pretty good shots, pretty good blocker saves if they're the goaltenders, and that personality's, whatever. But yeah, I went 12 minutes over, which I think it went a half an hour over back in 2019. But at any rate, there you go. The award show is done. Now we get the draft is on Wednesday. That's in Nashville as well. I don't think we'll have country music for the draft. I don't think so. I don't think I'd be very happy if in between each draft pick they're like, well, we're going to go outside for another concert. No, get to the draft picks, because the draft can sometimes take a while as well. So there you go. You guys are all caught up on who won which awards. I know there's certain winners that people aren't all that happy about, but I think they basically got it right. The Erik Karlsson conversation we can have another time, because I do agree that Karlsson's not a pure defenseman, but yeah, we knew when he hit the 100-point mark he was going to win the Norris Trophy. Would I say he's the best defenseman in the NHL? No, I wouldn't say he's the best defenseman in the NHL, but I totally understand why he won the Norris this year. At any rate, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.